The best way to describe my dad is a very loyal guy, but also, you know, super humble and super tough.
Our dad had a big personality. He had really strong convictions, and he was really passionate about the things that he was passionate about.
Well, Frank was a very humble guy. He had a lot of experience, very knowledgeable about the industry, and very successful, obviously.
He also was an extremely generous person with the people in his life, and very loyal as well.
I just can't say enough about how open and jovial a guy he was.
It's hard to choose one fun memory. Let's see, my dad loved music, and so he would love to rock out. If we were in the car, he would play the dashboard piano, and if we were in the house, he would play the lead guitar, but he loved music and he loved to have fun.
My dad used to beat me in Monopoly, like every time, and like ruthlessly beat me in Monopoly. And one time we were on a vacation together, and it was just he and I, and I was like 13 years old, and we played Monopoly. And I beat him. I used his trick and I beat him. And we never played Monopoly again from that day. But no, it was one of my favorite memories, and I used to rub it in kind of ruthlessly to him when I finally beat him.
I remember my first time I met him in person. It was at a WECA meeting back in the day when we used to have dinner meetings once a month. Everybody's, you know, walking around introducing themselves, or most of them know each other, and I was kind of the new guy. I knew of him and of his company because I'd competed against them when I was down in contracting down in Southern California in a previous life, or a previous contractor. And but anyhow, he just reached out and was very friendly and jovial, and just kind of took me in right then from the get-go. He was just real outreaching.
Frank and I always got along really well, and had a good time at social events around WECA, and always had a great time talking about. He was an avid boater, so we would talk a lot about boating.
My dad loved boating. So when he was young, before I was born, he actually raced boats. And then when we were kids, it was about water skiing and boating on the river.
2012 or 2013, my dad took a year off, and him and my mom kind of cruised around the East Coast of the United States together.
He went out and did, I believe, a one-year tour in the East Coast. He took the steps and the initiative to do that, to get the leadership in place and go ahead and be gone and enjoy that time out there on the waters, you know, doing what he loved most.
Yeah, almost all of his passion ended up somewhere near the water since he was about 18 years old, so.
My dad never really tried to be a pillar in the industry. He just was such a big, charismatic personality and so full of passion and integrity that he just became sort of this pillar of the industry.
So my dad was involved with WECA for a long time. He did a lot of the growth of WECA, from the early stages of the single table in the middle of a room to, you know, where they're at now.
In 1981, after the IBEW strike, many of the electrical contractors in the area needed to find another way to train apprentices and to develop electricians in the area. And so my dad, along with several other industry greats like Mark Cooper and Greg Anderson, they really created what WECA is today.
When WECA was working to get the apprenticeship program approved, a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of legal wrangling was done, and Frank was one of the contractors that was always there pushing for WECA.
You know, the apprenticeship program, although it was approved, it was always under fire. You know, it wasn't good in the eyes of the union that we had an apprenticeship training program and that we had our own program going forward.
So the union contractors don't like competition that's not union, and in an effort to try to squelch that, obviously getting the program approved as an electrical apprenticeship program that is as good, if not better, than the unions would not be in their best interest. So they did everything they could to stop that. Frank was one of those people that kept supporting the fight, which ultimately WECA prevailed.
When it came to philanthropy or giving or charity, he would always he would always bring his services that kind of linked up the two, that could put Royal and a school, or he was always doing work over at St. Pat's Elementary. He was over at, Christian Brothers was a big program for him. The way he gave a lot of philanthropy was through, things that Royal could do to help, or things that kind of came together needing both, right? The school needed some lights, so we would go over and donate some lights, or just anytime the two came together in parallel, I think that was a majority of the way he gave back.
I do not want to picture my company without WECA, and I wouldn't want to picture WECA without Frank's involvement. He added so much and benefited the association and all of us contractors.
Well, without Frank and the people like him, this organization would not be what it is today. I can say that I miss him to this day. He was a great friend, a great colleague. If you're going to have a competitor, he was one of the best competitors to have.
I guess the only thing I'd want to add of anything was just to reiterate the amount of love that he had for the people at WECA, the amount of passion that he had for those people that love that he would go to battle with any of them any day.
WECA runs deep in our family, and I know that my dad would want us to carry on the work that WECA is doing and the work that he did to grow WECA and strengthen it. And so my brother and I are going to continue to be extremely passionate about that, and our company Royal will continue to support the efforts of WECA.